an expression in its simplest form. So anything that can be reduced down to as simple as you can get it is what it means to simplify. An exponent is a number that shows repeated multiplication. That's the little number in the upper right hand of the big number, which is called our base. And it is a number that is multiplied repeatedly. So for example, if we have 7 to the 4th power, okay, this right here, the 4 is our exponent. And the 7 is our base. All right, this means we multiply the base 4 times. 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. Now, the whole thing we call it is a power. That whole thing is a power. Okay. To evaluate is when you substitute a given number for a variable, and we'll look at some of those here in a little bit. Let's just go over our order of operations. You guys know it as PEMDAS. The P is the parentheses, E is exponents, and then you have the My Dear Aunt Sally, multiply, divide, and add and subtract. But the important part on the multiply, divide, add, and subtract part is that you go from left to right. That is absolutely important, that you go from left to right. And I will show you some examples and why that is in fact important. Okay, so let's just look at our first example. We have 25 minus 8 times 2 plus 3 squared. We need to first take care of PEMDAS. Parentheses, we don't have any of those. Exponents, we do have one, 3 to the 2nd power. That's going to be 9. Okay, so we do 25 minus 8 times 2, and then plus. Kind of got that scrunched together. I apologize for that. So we've taken care of our power. Now we're going to go back and do multiplication and division from left to right. So we need to take care of the 8 times 2 in the middle. So we have 25 minus 16 plus 9. Right, now is when we do the addition and subtraction from left to right. We need to do 25 minus 16 first, okay? And I know you think My Dear Aunt Sally and you think addition and then subtraction, but it does have to come left to right. So if there is a subtraction before an addition, you must do that first, and that is very important. 25 minus 16 will give you 9. Okay, so you have 9 plus 9, which gives you 18. Okay, the letter B example, we're going to skip over and go on down to example 2. This is what I mean by evaluating. What you have to do is it tells us a number that we plug in for C and for D. So we need to plug in 2 for C and 5 for D. So let's go ahead and do that. The important thing about evaluating is when you plug in a number for a variable, you have to put that in parentheses. So if we have 4 times C, well, C we plug in 2. And then minus 2 times D is 5. And then that's divided by C, which is 2. All right. So it is very important that you put those in parentheses. Okay, now let's go through our order of operations. First is parentheses. We do have parentheses, but we don't have any operations to take care of with inside those parentheses. So we can skip over that. We don't have any exponents, so we're going to multiply and divide from left to right. Let's take care of all of that first. We have 4 times 2, that's 8, minus 2 times 5, which is 10. We'll go ahead and divide that by 2. We'll come back and get that division. Okay? We have to keep going left to right until we've got all the multiplication and division out of the way. So the next thing we're going to do is that 10 divided by 2. So we get 8 minus 10 divided by 2 is 5, which will give us 3. Okay, so it's very important when you're evaluating that you put parentheses around what you are plugging in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to example 3 on here. Example 3, we're going to add in some grouping symbols this time. So we do have to take care of the parentheses first. So in this one we have, in parentheses we have 13 minus 7, and we also have 8 minus 5. We're going to do that first. So we do 15, and then 13 minus 7 is going to give us 6. Divided by 8 minus 5 is going to give us 3. I'll go ahead and get rid of those parentheses since we're done with everything inside those parentheses. Then we have 15 times 6. When we take 15 times 6, you're going to get 90. And 90 divided by 3 gives you 30. So that's our answer on that one. We'll go ahead and work B as well. On letter B, we have parentheses. We have 5 plus 3, so that's going to give us 8. So we get 8 divided by 2 plus, all right, with inside those parentheses, we have to take care of the exponent. The exponent is 25. So remember, 25 minus 3 inside those parentheses. So we still need to continue finishing those up. So we have 8 divided by 2 plus, and then 25 minus 3 gives us 22. And I could have gotten rid of that parenthesis at this point, so really there's nothing else to solve inside the parentheses. Now we're going to do multiplication and division from left to right, which means we take care of the 8 divided by 2 gives us 4 plus 22, and that will give us 26. As long as you keep those numbers in parentheses, you'll keep it straight. All right, let's look and see what happens when we have some exponents. The next two problems look pretty similar here. One of them is CD squared with parentheses around the CD, and the other one there are no parentheses. Let's see what happens when those are. Those will actually give you different answers. Now, since we already have parentheses in letter A, and we're plugging in a number for C and D, and we're going to use parentheses on them, we're going to upgrade the current set of parentheses to brackets. So these are now going to become brackets. And then we're going to put C inside of parentheses, which is 15, and then D is 12, and we're going to square that. So what we have to do first, so we have to take care of what's inside that grouping symbol first, which is 15 times 12. So we need to take care of 15 times 12, and we get 180. So we have 180 squared. And we take 180 times 180, we get 32,400. Right, now let's see how letter B turns out differently for us. Okay, we're going to put C in parentheses. We don't need to upgrade brackets because we don't have any parentheses. We have 15 times 12 squared. What the difference is that squared only goes to the 12th. And we have to do that first. So 12 squared is 144 times 15. Okay, we're going to get a much smaller number this time. So it's 2,160. Alright, we'll just take care of that battery problem there. Okay, let's look at this last example. This is about, we're planning a park, it looks like, in an urban area. We have the formula for area of a trapezoid up here. It's this one right here. Okay, we're going to use that formula to plug in. We're going to evaluate, essentially, and we're going to plug these values into our formula, keeping in mind that the parentheses that are in that formula are going to be upgraded to brackets. Okay, the first thing we need to plug in is our h. Our h is 130 feet. So we have the area equals 130 feet, and then we have parentheses, so we're going to upgrade those to brackets. We have base 1, which is 100. Oops. Yeah, 100 plus 200. Divide all that by 2, and this will give you the area of that park. So first we're going to add up our bases, so we get 300 divided by 2 times 130. Okay, so then we take 300 divided by 2 is 150, so we're going to end up with 130 times 150, and that will give us our area of the park. And that area is 19,500 feet squared because it's area. If you remember probably from last year, area is squared. So 19,500 feet squared. And it's important you get those units on problems like this. So as long as you follow these problems step by step, and be sure you put parentheses in the numbers that you evaluate, this shouldn't be too difficult of a section. Thank you for watching.